What is up, guys? My name is Hartung. Welcome to the first ever episode of Pokemon Showdown Hoedown Power Rankings, Week 1 for the post-draft. I'm joined here by Patrick, coach of the Fort Wayne Flygons. Say hi, mate.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Alright, so this isn't going to be a very long video. It's just going to outline what we think the best teams are throughout the weeks, looking only at the teams, not how the coaches use them. So we'll start off with the lowest rank, number 16. And I'm really sorry to do this, but because I'm actually a really good mate of his, but I've put the Adelaide Bolt Strikers as number 16. You've put the Syracuse Suicunes. Do you want to tell them why?
Well, I picked the Suicunes because I thought his team was a little bit too dimensional from just looking at it, and I felt like the Bolt Strikers had a bit more versatility than some of the other teams, but I feel like a lot of these teams on the list are still very close and easily debatable throughout the rankings because of so many teams.
Yeah, the only reason I put the Bold Strikers is Dylan himself said he wasn't that confident in most of his picks. I mean, he's got some good ones like Latias, Scolipede, Empoleon, Crocodile, but it's more of his lower tier picks. I don't really like Mega Galele. I don't think it works as well with his team. I would have liked to see something like Mega Banette for some priority, or even Mega Camerupt for a bit of bulk behind it, because his team is looking at it quite frail, apart from maybe Empoleon and Regirock. But it's all like a bit of a blowover in the breeze for me. But I mean, Dylan's a very capable battler. I'm sure he'll make it work.
Well, I've already seen someone use Mega Galele very well in one of my first draft leagues, so I'm sure if he puts enough work into it, he could definitely make it work.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't like it. Just looks off to me in his team. It looks kind of like it doesn't belong. But that's just me. This is all opinion based, by the way, guys. We're not the most informed people. We do make mistakes. I'm sure Dylan will love to prove me wrong. Moving on to number 15, I've actually taken the Syracuse Suicunes here, and you've taken the Montreal Monfernos.
Let's see, I took the Monfernos because I can't remember what it was, but I didn't think they had like anything that was particularly weak, but I don't think they had anything particularly strong to put them higher up on the list. I think it's a good balance team, but I don't think there's anything that really makes the team stand out in and of itself.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Like, he's got a lot of powerful mons, but there's not a lot of mesh there. I mean, he's got Alola Ninetales, Entei, Jirachi, Sableye, Ella Momola. He's got Garchomp, Hitmontop. He's got great hazard removal, but that's really about it. I've noticed he hasn't got a lot of setup. He's got Alolan Sandslash and Garchomp and Rhydon. But they're all, I mean, you're not going to bring two of those in a week. I mean, I agree with you what you said with Bailey. He's got a lot of power, but there's just not a lot of coercion there. I mean, Kartana, Kamoa, Crobat, Drampa. He's kind of lacking speed, I noticed. He's got Raichu, Kartana, Crobat, and then everything else is kind of under base 100, which is going to hurt him coming up against faster teams. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thought I lost you for a sec.
No. Yeah. And it seems like he doesn't have any way to overcome speed. So if like someone has a very hyper offense team like what Noah had last year, he's going to be at a huge disadvantage because that's going to be something very hard for him to deal with, to be able to get an attack off before his opponent. And sometimes that can be the deciding factor in the matches, who can essentially hit first.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of priority with him either. There's no Sucker Punch, there's no Prankster. He's got quite a slow team, which will hurt him. but I mean, he's definitely got something there. Alright, moving on to
But one thing that
no,
I didn't look into with his team is, does he have any mods to get Trick Room? Because that could be something that he could pull out in a match against a really fast team.
I don't know. I don't know if Silvally gets it. That's probably the only mon that would. If not, no. Moving on to number 14, I've taken the Rhode Island Raichus and you've taken the Adelaide Bolt Strikers. Dylan would probably be a little happier with you than he would with me right now, but... Do you want to explain?
Well, I know that, what does he have, Latios or Latios? I can't remember.
He has Latios.
Yeah, so Latios is not as bulky, but it hits a bit harder than Latias, which is nice for his team. He also has Crocodile, which can be very terrifying, especially Moxie Choice Scarf, and it can also run Z moves, which could deal a lot of damage if you're not careful.
Especially now that with Latios, now that Soldiu's legal because it only gives a buff to one stat and it's only 1.2, that could hit seriously hard.
Yeah. And not to mention, Regirock can still take super effective physical hits really well.
Yeah,
it took a Iron Head, because I used it when I was facing somebody. It took an Iron Head from Bisharp, didn't even do 50%, and then Oko to Drain Punch and got all its health back.
Yeah. The reason I took the Raichus is because his team is very weak to quite a few common types, like fighting, ground. Actually, fighting and ground just about cover it all, except for Latias's is only checked to either fighting or ground. He's got Conkeldurr, I mean that can take a hit, but it's still quite frail. Weavile's 4 times effective to fighting. Shaman's not all that strong. Vaporeon's pretty good. Kamala's weak to fighting. Claydol's weak to dark, which fighting types often carry. Salazzle 4 times weak to ground. Magneton 4 times weak to ground, and Alolan Muck, which is 2 times weak to ground. So I mean, it's not. I mean, he's definitely got some good mons there, but he's gonna get blown over by a Garchomp or something that's got bulky Earthquake.
Dylan's Crocodile.
Yeah. Scarf Crocodile with Moxie's just about going to blow this whole team away. I mean, I know Colin's quite a capable battler. I've seen him battle quite a few times, but the way he's drafted, it looks like he's gone for a huge amount of hyper offense and not thought about bulk too much, which is going to hurt for something like a Scarf Moxie.
Yeah.
Alright, moving on to number 13. I've taken the Montreal Monfernos and you've taken the Rhode Island Raichus.
Going back to what you said is how when teams don't have a lot of bulk, they can be a hindrance. But we were talking about that with Noah last year, and sometimes, because I remember this from last year, even though he didn't necessarily have a lot of bulk, he just had a lot of offensive pressure to make it so that his opponent really couldn't fight back, which can be very difficult if you can't swing the momentum of the battle into your favor. You're playing defense the whole time. You're not really going to be able to do much to stop your opponent.
Yeah, it makes his opponents bring a few more bulkier mons to kind of would take the hits. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, and Latias, which I checked, gets Sucker Punch, which is really nice. And if it can set up a few coal mines, you're not going to get rid of it. It's just going to sit there and set up. And unless you bring a strong physical attacker, you're not going to be able to break it, really.
Yeah, I chose the Monfernos for exactly the same reason you did. It's just, he's got all the Pokemon are there. It's just, there's not a lot of ways he can work around building, say, a core. His Fairy Dragon Steel core is kind of off-putting with Alolan Ninetales, Garchomp, and Jirachi. I mean, Jirachi and Garchomp are nothing to sneeze at, but it's where that Fairy type comes in. He doesn't really have a hard-hitting Fairy type. He's got to go with Alolan Ninetales, which is not the strongest. It's quite fast, but not the strongest. Alright, number 12. I've put myself at number 12, and you've gone with the Houston Rocketots.
Let's see, the Rocket Huts. I think it's a very good team, but I feel like it's going to rely too heavily on the rain too much in most weeks, and then that could be a major drawback with the team. I mean, I know, like, Pelipper does get drizzle now, which helps, but then that's opening up to get hit by a thunder and get eliminated real quickly.
True. The only reason I didn't put him there is because he does have quite a few checks for that, but we'll discuss that when we get to my pick. I put myself mainly because, well, I didn't want to seem like a total dick putting myself number 1, even though I'm not number 1. But, I mean, 2 electric types, relying a hell of a lot on Uxie, no dark type, a shitty steel type. I had to kind of dive into tier 5, grab Pinsir. I mean, I'm happy with Pinsir now. I wasn't when I drafted it, though. I kind of looked at it and went, I don't really want it. Tried it out a few times and absolutely fell in love with it. But yeah, I think the lack of dark type, as well as 2 electric types, kind of puts me down the list a bit. Alright, moving on to number 11. We finally agree on something. We've both put yourself at number 11.
So I put myself at number 11 because I feel like I don't really have speed to deal with some of the faster teams. I have bulk, some decent bulk, and Donphan's my only spinner, which can cause problems. I mean, I don't have any mons like weak to rock except for Ariados, but if I'm bringing that for speed control, then I kind of need Donphan in there to help keep it alive.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Mega Manetric, that's about it, though. I can see where you're coming from. Oh, you've got Ambipom as well. Both of those are quite... But they both...
And Lycanroc Midday has base 125 speed.
112, yeah. But they both run... They all kind of run predictable sets. I think that's where your problem comes in. You've got some fast mons there, but they all run kind of predictable sets, which means your opponents are going to have a lot of time to be able to work out a counter.
Yeah.
But your bulk is phenomenal. That's, I mean, Heatran, Hydreigon, your Fairy Dragon, Steel Cord, Gardevoir, Heatran, and Hydreigon is monstrous.
Another thing that I found out while I was looking through some of my mons the other day is that both Gardevoir and Dusknoir get Trick Room.
They do, so you can run a Trick Room team, which is good because then you can run a bulkier Heatran, a bulkier Hydreigon. You can bring things like Emboar and Milotic.
Yeah, Emboar's going to be terrifying in Trick Room.
Yeah.
Especially because it gets Hammer, and then he's just only going to get faster until it runs out.
Exactly. And then all you have to do is you can switch it out and just keep doing that. Keep doing that strategy and then hit hard with the Flare Blitz. I mean, you can run it mixed, it gets Grass Knot as well. Scold for some reason. Yeah, it's quite a scary team if you set up that Trick Room. Alright, coming
and Dusknoir and Gardevoir both have bulk to stay around for a while and continue to set it up.
Exactly.
Which is also really nice.
Yeah. Alright, coming in at number 10, I've taken the Houston Rocketots and you've taken the Carolina Caterpies.
Let's see,
It's Corey's team.
Yeah, I really like Manabuzz as a defensive wall because I've used it before, and you can, like, I put everything into physical defense, and then I get hit with a Thunderbolt, and it still doesn't outcode because Manabuzz is very good Pokemon, and then he also has other mons that can help with that electric weakness as well. And Beedrill and Tapu Koko as a Volturn core is really nice because they're both really fast and hit really hard.
Yeah.
Especially since he doesn't need to run Protect anymore.
Yeah, with the new Mega. I do love his Volturn core in Koko. Beedrill. You can also run Koko Physical or special.
Or special.
Delmires and Cobalion for bulk, especially with a rock spin core there.
And not only that, he has Copagrigus with Moomy, so like if Amon has guts, and he can switch in Copagrigus, and then it gets Moomy, and then it loses guts if it's burned. So then it becomes useless
As well as Celesteela and Necrozma as tier 1 picks, because he picked up a lower tier Mega. I mean, a bulky wall like Celesteela, as well as a hard hitter like Necrozma.
And Necrozma can actually be built with decent physical defense as well, so...
Yeah, I don't like his Caterpie pick, but I mean, he knows what he's doing. The reason I took John and the Rocketots, I mean, yeah, he does rely a bit on rain, but he's got some great mons that don't rely on rain, things like Alola Marowak, Ferrothorn, Nidoking. Zeb Striker doesn't have to be run in the rain for Thunder. Noivern doesn't either, it can use Boom Burst, which breaks through subs as well, so things like Mega Gardevoir, unless it hits first, isn't gonna be able to stand up to a Boom Burst, especially if it's behind the sub, because it won't matter. He's got a lot of fast threats as well. I mean, Manaphy, Swampert in the rain, Buzzwole's quite fast, Pelipper, Noivern, and Zeb Striker, they're all base 100 or thereabouts. So he doesn't have to run as bulky sets on his things like Swampert or Manaphy. Alright, moving on to number 9. I've taken the Caterpies and you've taken the Liverpool Lanoons.
Let's see, I like the Togekiss pick because that's just really good in general. I think it works really well with Registeel and Mega Sceptile as well.
Yeah, I like his Mega Sceptile pick. That's an interesting one.
Because even though Mega Sceptile isn't like the best special attack hitter in terms of special attack, it is one of the fastest Megas, and it gets access to Lightning Rod, which helps protect his Togekiss and his Cloyster from electric attacks.
Yeah. I do
and
like...
then that raises his special attack, so once he gets that Mega, you really have to be careful when you're gonna fire off a Thunder Wave or a Thunderbolt.
It also resists ground, which helps for things like Nihilego, Registeel, and Blaziken.
And Togekiss and Thundersai are both immune to it, so that helps too.
Yeah.
And then he has Heracross, which he can run a Choice Scarf on, and it gets Moxie, so that can deal some damage as well.
Yeah. I've picked Corey's team for the exact same reasons you have. An amazing Volt Turn core. Mandibuzz is a phenomenal defensive wall. Same with Cofagrigus, Cobalion and Delmires with a spin rock core. I mean, Cobalion can be run bulky with things like Thunder Wave. It also gets access to Volt Switch. Wheezing is a phenomenal wall. It's just that Caterpie that kind of puts me off putting it up higher than the list, but I mean, I'm sure Corey has a plan for it. Alright, moving on to number 8. I've taken the Lanoons and you've taken myself.
Let's see, I think Zapdos and Rotom Wash are both really good bulky mons, because they can be because it's really hard to predict what defense they're going to be with, because you can bring both of them, because even though Zapdos is typically run physically defensive, it has higher special defense, which can be helpful. And same thing with Rotom Wash, it can be either or, and Arcanine with Intimidate can really be helpful, and Hitmonlee's Unburdened. Then you have Mega Venusaur and Dragonite, which are both really good walls, and Mimikyu Wig comes in with a free sub, which is really nice as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still not 100% confident in my team, but I mean, we'll see how we go throughout the first few weeks. I've taken the Lanoons. I do like his Nihilego pick. I'm a really big fan of Nihilego. His Togekiss is an amazing. It can be a flincher, it can be a Thunderwave Air Slash, Roost set. Cloyster is a good defensive wall. Same with Registeel. Heracross, a Scarf Moxie user for him. That's stick a Scarf on it. Scarf Moxie is absolutely amazing. A lot of them Persians, an odd choice. But I mean, it gives him a Dark type, Fake Out, another Thunder Waver. Mega Sceptile, Lightning Rod is a fantastic ability, especially with things like Mega Ampharos and Mega Manectric. Porygon 2 with Thunder Wave or Thunderbolt. Thunderous Eye gets access to Prankster. Nasty Plot. That thing's gonna absolutely wreck house. Blaziken Trevenant. Also Gothitelle. Gothitelle's a really good pick for the Lanoons.
Yeah, I made this list after I heard that. Before I realized that Gothitelle would be allowed to use Shadow Tag in this league.
Yeah, we were debating about it when we started making the list, and then it was revealed that Shadow Tag Gothitelle would be allowed, and that kind of really pushed him up for me. Because Shadow Tag Gothitelle with an electric type, switch into Mega Sceptile, Lightning Rod, blow it away with a Leaf Storm or a Giga Drain. It works out well.
Once Sceptile comes in and gets that Lightning Rock boost, you're in trouble.
Especially with its speed.
Yeah. Like that's the whole problem. Like, the whole point of Mega Sceptile is to have it take an electric type attack, and then it can't really do anything to slow it down, because the only way you can paralyze it is with Body Slam or Lick, due to secondary effect.
Yeah. Or you can use Glare, can't you?
Oh yeah, that's true, you could.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't think there's an actual Glare user on anyone's team. But, we'll have to...
Wait, did anybody grab Dredagon? Because I think somebody did.
I'm just having a look. I don't think so. There's a Drapion, but no, I don't see a Dredagon. No. Alright, moving on to 7. I've taken the Dumfam Lanoons, and you've taken the Chippenham Chestnuts.
So, the Chippenham Chestnuts, Raikou is really good, because when I faced Joe, as soon as I fired off that first flamer, I'm like, oh, it's a Salt-Vested Raikou. And his Core of Salamence, Mega Scizor, and Azumarill is gonna deal a lot of damage to opponents just breaking through walls.
Yeah.
Because with those three, there's not a lot you can do to really stop them from wreaking havoc. You have to be able to take them out fast before they can do anything.
And especially with Mega Scizor's access to Bullet Punch and Azumarill to Aqua Jet, I mean, even if you can hit it first, it's got priority there.
Yeah.
I've taken the Dumfam Lanoons because, I mean, Excadrill, probably the best spinner in the game. Reuniclus, Tangrowth for some bulk, Galvantula for speed control. Torkoal, that's kind of a weird pick for me. Miltank's great, base 100. The best Mega in the game, Mega Gardevoir. Tyranitar to set up the sand for Excadrill. He doesn't have to bring it to make Excadrill good, but if you don't want to run a Scarf Excadrill, you want to run a Bandit or Life Orb or Assault Vest or something like that, you can bring Tyranitar and make it even faster with its Sand Rush ability. Torrent Greninja, that's quite fast, and Stoutland as well. He's got a Sand team there that he doesn't even have to bring, because he's got really good backup mons like Mega Gardevoir, Galvantula, and Tangrowth with Reuniclus, as well as Garbodor to set up Spikes and Toxic Spikes. Alright, moving on to number 6. I have the Boston Bulldogs, and you've taken the Dun from Lanoons.
As you said, he is one of the best spinners in the game. Reuniclus is very bulky with Magikarp Life Orb. Tangrowth gives him another good bulk. Galvantula gives him speed control. Torkoal is good bulk as well. And as you said, he has a sand team that he doesn't really need to bring. And Mega Gardevoir gives him some really good special attacking power, especially with that Pixelate Hyper Voice, because now he can hit around subs.
Yeah, it's going to blow through special walls. I've taken the Bulldogs. The only thing for me that prevents me from putting higher up on the list is a good grass type. His Firewood Grass Core with Infernape, Mega Blastoise, and a good grass type would be absolutely phenomenal. It would be almost impossible to break that core. But he's got things like Fortress, Porygon 2, Golbat, all as quite bulky Pokemon, Skuntank as well. And then he's got hard-hitting presence with Alakazam, Infernape, Tapu Bulu, Oh, he does have a grass type. Huh. Well, there you go.
Wait, are you talking about the Honchkrows?
I am, my bad. Whoops, I'm reading the wrong team. Boston Bulldogs. Here we go. The Mew, Volcarona. Yep. Yeah, okay, my bad, sorry guys. I mean, Mews are fantastic. It's the most versatile mon in the league. Volcarona, Roserade, Blastoise, all hard-hitting special attackers. Electabuzz, don't sleep on its base 105 speed, which kind of surprised me. Mega Lopunny is monstrous. Tornadus T can hit like a truck. Dugtrio for some speed. And Absol and Bronzong.
And Tornadus T also gets Regenerator, which is nice.
It does. Roserade with that natural cure as well, so it doesn't have to worry about statuses.
Dugtrio also gets Arena Trap too, which is pretty good as well because it can trap them on.
Yeah, and then just absolutely go ham.
And Absol gets a good move pool as well that can deal some damage.
Yeah, I mean, and it also gets access to things like Sucker Punch as well, which can really make you think twice about attacking. Alright, moving on to number 5. I've taken the Baltimore Honchkrows and you've taken the Carolina Clefables.
Let's see, the Clefables, I like how Clefable is a good wall and it can also be run offensive. Mamoswine hits really hard and there's not one particular wall you can use against it because you can bring something that resists ice but then ground hits it way too hard and vice versa. Chandelure gives it good special attack power. And Amoonguss is actually a really good wall for Azumarill and Mega Scizor because they're not going to break through it very easily. He just needs to be careful of the Salamence with that. So that's a nice pickup, and Swellow can deal a lot of damage. And Starmie as a Z-move user I thought was really smart because I've used it before and know how good it is.
Yeah, and he's got Lucario as his backup Z-move user as well. That thing also hits phenomenally hard. Its move pool is a little more predictable, I would say, but you can still whip out some surprises. It's got fairly decent attack and special attack, so you can run it mixed if need be. I mean, he gets access to E-Speed as well.
The main problem I had with this team is that he only has 2 mons that can get rid of hazards. Swellow, which is weak, and Starmie does get Rapid Spin, but it doesn't really want to have to use a Rapid Spin and have to take a hit to get rid of hazards.
Yeah. Alright, now I can talk about the Honchkrows, considering I was talking about them before. Everything I said still rings true. Tapu Bulu, Blastoise, Mega Blastoise, and Infernape is a great core. Alakazam hits hard, so does Zygarde 10%. Fortress, Porygon 2, Skuntank are all quite bulky, as well as Golbat for a defogger. Sneasel's fast and hits like a truck. Not as good as Weavile, but that's what it's an Eviolite user for. Even if you don't have to run it Eviolite, you could run it Scarf, Banded, Life Orb. It's I think it's a good team for Noah. He's going to use it very well this year. Moving on to number 4, and we agree again on the Southern Glygars.
So he has Lando T, which I think is really nice because Intimidate U-turn, he can just, if he's having trouble with a physical attacker, he can just send Lando U-turn out and bring out again over and over again. Tapu Fini, which is the exact opposite of Tapu Koko, as Tapu Koko is all offensive, Tapu Fini is all defensive, and then Jolteon gives him a nice Volt Turn core. Umbreon with some good defense. He does have a Dredagon.
Oh, he does have Jolteon. There you go, a Glare user for that Mega Sceptile.
Yeah, Mega Alakazam, which I know regular Alakazam got a buff for Gen 7, I think. And so did Jolteon as well. I think Jolteon's base special attack increased. Because it's like has base 130 special attack and base 110 speed or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I see where you come from. I mean, the great U-turn, Volt Turn core and Lando T and Jolteon. Tapu Fini is the bulkiest, probably one of the bulkiest mons in the format. Dredagon is a really good Glare user. Umbreon for some bulk. Mega Alakazam, he's got normal Scissor. It opens it up to a lot more sets it can use. It can run an Ochre Berry, Life Orb, Focus Sash, instead of having to run the Mega Stone. Rotom Heat is actually a fairly good mon under Rotom Wash. Serena with that Trop Kick, that gives him another way to lower attack, so he doesn't have to run a physical wall all the time. And Aggron to set up rocks and just be a physical wall.
Same thing with Scizor. Scizor can be a decent wall, and it gets priority as well with Bullet Punch Technician.
Yeah, I mean, access to Roost as well. I think it's great. Really good team. Okay, number 3, you've taken the Honchkos, I've taken the Chestnuts.
So going back to what you're saying of a phenomenal Firewater Grass Core of Infernape, Blastoise, and Tapu Bulu. And he has Alakazam, which he can use hit very hard. The only problem I have with his team is that besides Fortress and Mega Blastoise, a lot of his defensive mons rely on Eviolite, so knockoff can really hurt his defensive core.
Yeah, that is a good point. I'm just looking at Joe's team. Salamence, Mega Scizor, and Azumarill are absolutely phenomenal picks. His Fairy Dragon Steel Core is great. Raikou doesn't have to always be run Scarf or Specs. You can run it Assault Vest. Nidoqueen gives him a little bit more bulk without taking away too much offensive presence. Still hits fairly hard. Hooper's great. I mean, Scarf with Scarf Psychic, Scarf Shadow Ball. You can run it physical, although you tend not to. Hitmonchan for a spinner, that's great, as well as quite a wide range of moves with Priority Mach Punch, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, Fire Punch, Rapid Spin. I love Hitmonchan. Celebi's great. Ditto allows him to come in on a setup mon with a Scarf and absolutely sweep. And I mean, Kecleon's not bad. It's got Priority Shadow Sneak, it can set up rocks. It's just a little less bulky than what I would have taken.
Well, going back to the Ditto, one of the things why I didn't put Ditto, Ditto kind of brought it down for me because if you remember GBA, I want to say like Season 4 or Season 5, Gym Leader Geo had a Ditto, and every time you use it, if you don't use Ditto correctly, it can actually have you lose momentum instead of gaining. It's good for scouting out sets, but then, you're kind of losing any momentum that you have to figure out what your opponent is doing,
Yeah,
type of thing.
I see your point, but it all depends on really how you use it. It can be a fantastic mon if used correctly, but if you don't use it the right way, it can really set you back. I'm sure Joe will use it right though. Joe's an absolutely phenomenal battler. He got into the top 4. He got into semis last year, so he really.
Yeah, I think he lost to Null, which was the only person to beat him during the regular season.
Yeah, he really knows what he's doing, Joe, and he can bring quite a diverse moveset, so he doesn't have to bring predictable sets like you'd assume he would. Alright, moving on to number 2. I've taken the Carolina Clefables, and you've taken the Boston Bulldogs.
Like you said, Mew, very versatile. Tornado Steel, Regenerator Core, Duck Trio can trap. Roserade can be run, with bulk or power. Blastoise gives him a nice rapid spinner. A Bronzong can be run with heat proof or levitate, so it's like, is he weak to ground or is he weak to fire? And
do you really want to risk going for an Earthquake for it to not hit?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great team. I can see why you put it number 2. But for me, the Clefables with, a mascot pick. Mamoswine hits incredibly hard as well as it can set up rocks. Chandelure hits hard. Amoonguss is a great bulky mon for him to have. Zoroark is good. You'll see it in team preview, but you got to figure out which mon's which. If it's a Zoroark or if it's a whatever mon he's bringing out. Swellow hits incredibly hard. Mega Ampharos does as well, although it has to set up an agility, but it doesn't have to. It can be a bulky special attacker. Starmie, great spinner. You probably don't want to run spin on it, but it can. Lucario is great. Priority E-speed, special or physical. Drapion for a fast taunt user as well as toxic spikes, and Mesprit for that levitate user that he seems to be lacking besides Swellow. Alright, moving on to number 1. The number 1 pick is, we both agreed, it's the Bellevue Farfetch, coached by Prof. Chewy.
Well, there are 2 mods really need to be said, and that's Kieran Black and Cresselia. One of the hardest hitting mons and one of the bulkiest mons.
Not even that. He's got things like Darmanitan, a great spinner in Tentacruel, another good hazard setter and remover in Skarmory, Florges for that Fairy Steel Dragon Core, Quagsire is quite bulky. I don't know if it sets out rocks or not. Oricorio Pom Pom, Oricorio is actually a very, very good mon if used correctly, and the team he's got, I think he can use it correctly. He can bring it in, maybe set up a Carmine.
I believe Oreo Pom Pom is the electric flying type, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it is. Pom Pom is electric, Sensu is ghost, Oricorio normal is fire, and Sensei is psychic. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal team. Chewy is a really good battler too. He really knows what he's doing. Especially with that Kieran Black, Skarmory and Florges core. Not to mention Mega Gyarados too. Mold Breaker is really going to come in handy for things that have Levitate with Earthquake, like the Rotoms, Mesprit.
Yeah, because Rotom Heat takes an EQ, it's over. It's not going to live that, because it's 4 times a week.
And especially coming off a Gyarados attack. And if it sets up a Dragon Dance, there's absolutely no way it's surviving. So yeah, congratulations to Chewy on being the first number 1 power ranking of this season. That was the power rankings for the post-draft week. I've been Hartung, joined by Patrick, and we'll see you guys later. Peace.